All of us have to start over, do we not? Start over in a relationship, start over job-wise, location-wise, health-wise. We all have to start over. And if you'll notice in your workbook, there's a definition of starting over. Desiring the fullness of life in the middle of a transition or failure, rejection, broken dreams, missed opportunities, marital collapse, or death. So starting over begins when all the things that you had for the structures of your identity are all gone. Where life is a little bit different, maybe radically different. So maybe some of you are in shock, I don't know. But secondly, maybe some of you are in this process. I'm going to guess many of you. How many would say you're in turmoil? Okay, it's not shock. You've maybe not accepted the circumstance, but you're a little farther down the road. It's the reality of life just simply jumbled together. What used to make sense doesn't anymore. Here's the fourth choice. Assume responsibility. This is huge because you know what? Healing comes from God and self-responsibility. God's not going to change your flat tire. He's going to love you. He's going to bring people into your life to love you, give you support and affirmation. But there's some responsibility on our part, right? All of us, I don't think any of us are exempt. We can allow circumstances to have preeminence, authority over us, and we can derive our identity from those events. Really, who am I? Is my identity wrapped up in my job or being Mrs. Jones or Mr. Jones? And is it in my intellect? Is it in my looks? Is it where I live? Is it what I drive? I mean, we derive our identity from those things, do we not? And sometimes when those things... But true change, as we talked about last week, comes from reflection and responsibility, personal responsibility. But I want, it seems to me, in my nature, is someone else to take responsibility for me right now. And if it ain't happening, I can blame the other person, my family, my upbringing. It's not fair. I can blame God. I can blame anything. So tonight, maybe it is fair to ask ourselves, all of us, two questions. One, do I want to change? I'm assuming that's true because you're here. You know what? Like it or not, you're changing. Look in the mirror. You're not getting any younger. Now, do I want to grow? Answer those questions. So tonight, in a very hopefully practical way, ask yourself this question: who owns me? Is it my job? Is it my intellect? Is it my looks? Is it my income? Is it where I live? What I drive? What are my hopes? What are my dreams? What are my fears? It's not the rearview mirror. I get the past. It's going to be back there, but can I look through the windshield? Can I move a little bit forward? Can I consider some new things? And maybe it's those little small steps, those gentle risks I need to consider. And that no matter what I failed at, that's not who I am. That might be part of my inventory, but it doesn't have to control me from moving forward and making some good choices. Does that make sense? Look at what does it mean to experience forgiveness? First, we need to understand it and look at three aspects tonight of forgiveness. So that's where you'll begin in your workbook. So the first aspect tonight we want to look at is understanding what forgiveness is and what it's not. First of all, it is not in pretending. It's not pretending that I'm not angry. It's not pretending that this hurt didn't happen to me. I'm on two extremes of the pendulum. It's all their fault or it's all my fault. And probably, like so many cases with conflict, there's some truth in between the two extremes. It's all her fault, it's all his fault, And so, if we get in those two extremes, we can't find truth. And now, why is that? Sometimes, I think it is, I don't want to face the reality of my part in a relationship, even though I might be the respondent or the recipient or the victim. Because why? It requires responsibility on my part and change. Change about how I'm going to do life from here on out. How I'm going to move forward. So starting over begins with who? Me. Not the other person, not a system, but me. And so notice, no matter how little I think that I have contributed to the circumstance, I'm still part of it. Right? I'm not God. Remember, didn't we agree last couple weeks ago that, hi, I am not God, and furthermore, I don't want to apply for the job, right? But I don't know all the answers. I don't have to be right all the time. I don't have to be in control of things I can't control. I can't be in control of my former. But if I don't take personal responsibility, I stand in line to be a victim. Go ahead. Go ahead and hurt me. I'm used to it. My parents did it to me. My friends do it to me. I can beat myself up all by myself because people have told me and showed me how to do it.